back to another edition of the Dirty Verdict podcast. I'm one of your hosts, full-time mediator Peter Taffler, joined as always by co-host Bill Ogden, National Trial Lawyer of the Year 23, and his firm turning from a 24.
Yep, as to that, for involved 2023, and then Westball Kyle Farrah just accepted last week the award for National Trial Lawyers of the Year for 2024. So I haven't heard anybody that's back to back that award, but we have.
Wow. Welcome back. We'll hear the stories from Philadelphia maybe soon.
We were in Miami this time. Although Phil was the 23 awards. Yeah, I was there for both actually.
Gillett MMA the second, no jail time. You know.
Yeah, you're like maybe Warren, but I'm here.
Okay. And then we've got National Hair Lawyer of the Year, Kyle Herbert. Hair's looking exceptionally good today.
Peter, for those entities out there looking to give out National Lawyer Awards, I just want you to know that I'm kind of above that, right? I do it for the art. And if I'm nominated, I will not run. And if elected, I will not serve. But I appreciate the kind thoughts.
Yeah, you got it.
Sure. Trophies are cool for an hour. That's what we said.
Speaking of good-looking hair and coiffed hair, got a very special guest today.
We do.
Chris Gillett, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm an avid listener of The Dirty Verdict. And this is one of the worst haircuts I've had in 12 months. Appreciate it.
I thought it looked pretty good. And now next to Kyle, it's tough on you.
Nobody looks good next to that way.
Wow. You should see it's just crowning glory. Yeah.
So Chris, you don't practice law anymore, is that right?
I do not. No, I get the exemption.
So what do you get? Is it yellow? What's the color on the bar's website?
No. For a while it was red because I stopped paying them, but then give them a call and they're like 700 bones and you're back.
Yeah.
So
I'm only $700
back then, yeah, something like that.
They referred it with one referral fee.
If I paid them $700, would they take my name off the state bar?
And so what's the pitch? Because, lawyers usually, when they're doing a headshot, it's someone that says, oh, you're going to this place and photo. Like
Under duress. It's my favorite scenario. Yeah.
So how does that say, how do you usually get your business?
When I first started tracking it, I found it was about 50% came from just organic search results and about 50% was word of mouth. And currently, when I run those numbers, it's about 2-1 in favor of word of mouth. It's been interesting. I feel like at some point I hit a critical mass where people, and part of it's that I do one thing. And so, I don't do pictures of people with their dogs or whatever, so people will recognize, we'll see how desperate I get. But the work has a certain look to it. And so people, especially in the legal community, or especially within certain subsets of the legal community, they seem to come in waves. So they'll say, oh, did Gillett do that? And so I think that helps with that tremendously. When I was a lawyer, I distinctly remember getting the email, we're doing headshots for the website. We need you in the auxiliary conference room next Tuesday, 10:20, wear a dark suit. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to do this. And they showed up and got in there and they sat me at the table and they said, okay, Mr. Gillett, smile. And I went, this is my camera. Where am I looking?
So, friendly smile, tough smile.
Yeah. So
I did that and it was not good.
So that's the question, because aside from just taking the photograph, there's some art associated with it. So like for lawyers, do you go through and go, do you want to, are you a tough guy or a gal? Are you a nice, welcoming person? Or how does that consultation?
I'll tell you how it goes, and then I'll tell you the thinking behind it, because they're two completely different things. But the process I use is people come in and get them in front of the camera, shoot a dozen shots or so, different angles. I'll tweak the expressions a little bit, especially with guys. I'm as egalitarian as they come, but I treat men and women differently in front of the camera. And
my first set was all nudes. I mean, tastefully done.
Burt Reynolds.
On the rug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was tough to get the rug into Chris's studio, but it was worth it, I think.
Yeah, well worth it. Yeah.
Oh.
And I'll pull them out. We'll talk about them, figure out what we like and don't like. And it does a couple of good things. One is that they can see how it's going. Usually that first set is going to be better than anything they've done before, but you just never know how people are going to feel about this shit. Most of it is just a matter, like, while the expression stuff is science, everything else is a matter of aesthetic opinion and reasonable. Yeah, that's not a good one. And everybody's going to feel different about it. Like, I don't know, like, you're a good looking dude, but God knows what Sally Smith said to you in 8th grade, and so you're carrying around that. So we'll talk about them.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's nothing James Bond about this, Peter.
No.
Nothing at all.
I mean, it just looks like a regular old.
You look like a mediator here.
You actually look good, but at some point we'll get to it. There's like one thing I would change with that. Otherwise, I like it.
The yellow tie.
Yeah, the shit tie.
What is this? What is this called?
Hold on.
We'll cut to this.
Hold on. We got to explore this real quick. Side quest. Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that tie? Sears? Kmart?
It's a Ferragamo tie. It's an expensive yellow tie.
So
I was told at the time, oh, we're yellow and black, so we're a dark suit and a yellow tie, and I put one up, which I've never worn before. Someone gave it to me, and I'm not a. But it came in handy then. Of course, Danielle didn't follow that rule, and so whatever.
sorry.
Yes, thanks for the tie.
No, let's go back to these critiques. Let's criticize on
Peter that you complimented the tie.
steps in that one.
Yeah. So, what is the cost for anyone who might want to refresh their website photo?
It's on my website. They can look it up.
Okay, and your website is called
expensive.
liktherazor.com.
That's the URL, liktherazor.com.
It's worth every penny.
Yeah.
I didn't answer your question, though. So the procedure is I pull them out after a dozen shots or so. We'll talk about them. It's also besides just sort of eliminating buyer's remorse, it's also an opportunity for me to coach them and how they can see what their faces are doing. And that expression coaching is a big part of it. Because let me back up. I'm going to tell you three things that are related to this. They're all important. When I went in on Tuesday at 10:20 with my dark suit to have that shot made with the guy telling me, okay, Mr. Gillett, smile. I got in there and I did this, and I looked like maybe I was happy to be there, but I didn't look like a partner with a big book of business. I didn't look like somebody you should worry about. And I thought I looked like a chump, and it was because they left it up to me. They just said, okay, smile. And I'm now ugly about it because at the time I thought it was 100% my fault. I thought, well, shit, that's what I look like. That's what I get. And I now know, no, it's what you do in front of the camera, because it's a long story, but when I finally got into headshots and started to figure it out, I finally got a picture of myself where it was like, holy shit, okay.
I like that one.
I don't look like Clooney or Pitt, but I look fucking good. Like, if this is as good as I get, I should be very happy about it. And I cannot wait for all the single moms to see this, And the only difference besides me being 7, 8, 9 years older was that I was doing different. Well, the lighting was different. The positioning was different, but the biggest difference was my expression. And my expression looked hyper confident. Like I didn't give a fuck what you thought, but also I didn't look like a prick either.
God, that's a delicate balance.
That's going to be hard for you, Bill.
Yeah, it is a lot. Mostly the latter of those two.
Yeah. Well, looking on your website, it looks like most of them are happy, smiling. Well, not like a tough.
Well, I giggled when I pulled your website up because it's like half of my friends on social media, that's their profile picture. Yeah, I've seen like a bunch of them before.
It's funny because sometimes people will say, oh, you just photograph models and actors. And it's like, nope. Like the lawyer, commercial real estate guy. That was my Uber driver one day.
How do you feel about that?
Ooh, can't see it.
Can't see it.
So I feel good about it.
Totally screw that up. Now that we critique Peter's, like, how do we feel about that?
Cocky prick. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice prick. All right. Good.
Is that what your photographer was going for? Cocky prick?
I don't think so. I just said, hey, because my old photo, I was like sitting down and it was like a horrible angle. And every time I kept meeting new people, they were like, wow, I thought you were like a 5'7" and Jewish. And I'm like, nothing, like I'm not Jewish and I'm not 5'7". And so I was just like, oh, I should probably mix this up a little bit. And so that's when I got these done. I wasn't going for asshole. I thought
we can talk about racial phenotypes if you want to.
No, we don't have to. I'm just saying, like, I'm not picking a side in this in the Gaza conflict.
Kind of just walked right into it.
All right, Chris, let's drop the trump card on him. Look at that.
No, I knew it. As soon as I saw it,
I mean, oh my God, that guy's flux.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell. That's old Scally. He looks like
he's lean.
30 years old.
Yeah, maybe 20 years old. But Chris did this.
You got to update these.
Yeah, this one needs updating.
Okay, so, and guys, I'm looking at your portfolio.
I don't know. Somebody added that to Expo.
Is the art? I mean, it looks like lighting would be a real big part of it because it's
probably the second most important thing. Yeah.
What's the first?
The expression.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care what kind of camera and lens I'm using, as long as the light isn't god awful. The difference when I saw myself in that picture and I was like, holy shit, I look great. It was the expression. That was the most important thing. And it's the main reason I think people end up working with me, because that the expression can convey. I'm usually going for I want people to look their best. I want them to think, wow, I look good. My jawline looks good. I look masculine. I look handsome. but I want the expression to convey, especially for lawyers, hey, that guy is hyper confident, good at what he does. He's an expert at it. He's successful at it too. Plus, he's nice, trustworthy, likable. Some ratio of confident to likable. And everybody's going to feel different about it. There's going to be the guy who like, hey, I want to look like a badass. I want to look like I'm not going to get out-lawyered. And then other people are going to say, hey, look, I want to be the guy that they can tell their bullshit story to. I want to look like a really friendly guy. There's no right answer to that. I can tell people what I like on them, but yeah, it is with a law practice. I mean, you can have two completely, to me, similar guys. They're both plaintiffs lawyers. They kind of seem like they're in the same part of the ecosystem. And one guy will be like, I got to wear a tie. And the other will be like, I can't wear a tie. And some guy will say, I want to look super friendly. I want to look cooler. There's no right answer to it. You know your ideal clients. You know the image you want to project. And the great thing about the procedure I use is it really helps us to jack with that. It's not, okay, 1, 2, click, click, click. Okay, good luck.
If I recall,
let's craft it.
I was going to say your sessions are like 45 minutes or an hour?
It depends. I block off like 3 hours for my individual clients. We typically don't use it, but I like it for multiple reasons. If nothing else, just to know, hey, look, we got plenty of time. Like, we're not going to be rushed. I think it gives people some comfort. Too, it gives us the opportunity to try stuff. Like I had a optometrist this morning, a guy client who, second time I shot him, and his teeth smile is his natural smile. It looks great on him. He's a nice looking guy. He's actually my age. He looks really young. And we did that. And at some point I pushed him to do the lips together cool one just to see, so he could see it. If he doesn't like it, fine. You know, we can look at the evidence and accept or reject it. And he loved it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're like, my wife's going to say, why didn't I smile? Or I don't like it. And you never know until you shoot it. And oftentimes they're going to see themselves in a way that they hadn't seen themselves before, just like it was with me. Like, holy shit, I look pretty good if I do the right stuff.
What do you shoot anything for fun? Do you get tired of just faces? Anything else you like to shoot?
I did when I first got into photography, and now it's all faces. I know it seems like it would just be so monotonous, just face after face after face, but it's endlessly fascinating, and I just love it. Love it, especially the experience of, especially when it's a guy, like I'll get these guys and maybe insurance defense guys, not guys,
Gross.
but yeah, he'll have the Manson lamps and he'll kind of be like this the whole time. And then I'll get him in there and get him where he looks cool and he sees it and he loves it. That's pretty rewarding.
Not for me. The last thing I need is an insurance defense lawyer with more confidence.
Cubby, do you consult at all on like placement on websites, or do you have any thoughts on like where the picture should be on the website?
Sometimes, but rarely. Usually, the clients have already got web people, and that's why they need shots, and they've already decided how they're going to fuck up my work. So I'll tell them what I think. Like, one of the things I'm not saying it's bad, but one of the things I don't like about the shots that y'all have shown me is the vertical crop. I think it's not as good. If you look on my website, they're all cropped horizontally. And it's for a couple of reasons. One, it looks better and more cinematic to me. I mean, you think about human vision.
It definitely does.
We see more to the side than we do up and down. Even in we've been over a decade with these things, and maybe at some point this will feel better than this way, but I think the horizontal orientation looks better. And it also puts the emphasis where it needs to be. I think when a lot of these places show so much torso, it betrays the fact that they have no fucking idea why they're doing headshots in the first place. And they really don't. And I can tell you stories about this because it's unbelievable. They really don't know why they're doing it. And the reason I crop them horizontally is it allows me to have the face as big as possible in the frame. And because that's the thing that's conveying confidence and likability is this. Your gut conveys nothing. All it does is make the face smaller in the frame, which if you hate your fucking face, then okay, then that's a good thing. But
Peter, obviously.
Yeah.
I feel like Willem Dafoe, who said,
Jesus,
I don't worry about my face anymore. If I had to worry about my face, I would never get out of bed in the morning.
that's best case scenario for you with that.
Fun, do one like old lawyer ones where they're like holding a book and they're going like this.
Like in a library of old.
If I were I actually did this. I don't know if I should tell you, but it's a guy in y'all's world. He said, "Can we do one where I'm doing like this?" And I said, "Like you're hugging yourself." Yeah. Like you don't know how to cross your arms like a human. Yeah. Like you're doing like a Barbara Eden or whatever.
No, that's definitely Chance McMillan.
No,
I'm just kidding.
And I said, yeah, but why? He said, because there's a woman who works in my building who's got one of those, and I always give her shit about it, and I think she'd think it was funny if I did it. So yeah, I've done that, but I've never done the
holding the book and or reading the book.
It's like,
didn't see you there.
with a globe, or
Reading.
like a globe in the background.
Yeah.
Leather bound books.
trying to do these with a more modern feel. So I don't.
So who's the, like, obviously, I think you probably run into people that are a little picky and hard to work with. Who's like the worst lawyer you've had to work with?
I would never tell you. Throw out names. Never tell you all that.
Let's do one better. Most difficult politician or judge that you've ever had to work with.
Most of my, so this is going to sound like bullshit, but like most of the people that I work with are great. I get awesome clients. There are going to be a few weirdos. I'll tell you about a weirdo I had one time, but the judges have typically been good. And I'm trying to think, one time when I was first starting to do this, hey, I'll tell you one. So when I was first starting to do this, I was still a lawyer. And I was just doing this for fun, and I'd sat next to, I don't want to drop the person.
You don't have to say the person's name.
The person was like, let's say this was like
Peter Path.
Yeah. But a pretty big state politician, and I'd sat next to this guy at a function, and his headshots always kind of look like howdy doody, just kind of like that with the mouth open, and so I was like, dude, you need a new headshot. And so he shows up at my, well, he didn't just show up, we scheduled it, but he comes to my house with a DPS guy who is his security, and
DPS
nice
politician,
nice fella. But I found him challenging to work with. And part of it, I think, was my fault because I was just starting to do it and I didn't have maybe the client control that a professional might, like you fellas. But at some point I kind of got frustrated and I said, go change your tie. And then I called the DPS guy and I was stand there. And I got within like 3 shots. I got a shot where he looked really cool, like a nice guy. And I was like, okay, yeah, I know how to do this. And then eventually I got it with that guy. But I don't think it was his fault. He's used to just doing the typical bullshit. Dude.
What's more difficult to coach? Someone that's really attractive or someone that's really unattractive?
It doesn't really have any bearing.
I'm asking for a friend.
Okay. No, it doesn't have any bearing on.
Thanks, Kyle.
The weirder somebody is, the harder it is.
The weirder?
Yeah, the
Well,
weird.
shit.
Okay, so you've got on your website, you've got black background, white background, and then you've got the funny side. And there's someone dressed up like Randy Macho Man Savage.
No,
that
guy's great. I'm blanking on his name. I'll get it. He used to do security at Astros games. He was like the on-field guy, but he did wrestling. His daddy was a wrestler too. I feel like such an asshole. He'll never see this though.
That's all right.
I've seen y'all's numbers. So
so the other ones, it's people doing funny looks. Why will people do that? Because they're not going to put it on their website just for their personal use.
Well, my purpose in doing it, no, I just ask them if they're okay with. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay, that's equal rights.
Okay,
it's just to show that it's fun.
Now we've probably seen on our social media feeds they've got this new AI deal where you can give your picture and it'll turn it into a glamour shot. So
they never look good for me. I was like super like.
It's interesting for some people. People look super weird.
Yeah, I get a
so your counter to that on why they should go to a pro in person versus use one of service is what?
The truthful answer is, if you would even consider doing that, then go for. Kind of a loser thing to do, it's so weird to me. Did I trigger something? Oh my God. The in the tech booth, they're futzing with something.
AI stuff.
Yeah, the AI stuff. I don't know. Like for some people, I'm sure it's a good solution. Like maybe you're a single mom and you didn't need a headshot for years and all of a sudden you get a bump up at work and you need one, but you're tight on time, you're tight on money. Okay, then maybe that's a good solution. But for my clients, I don't think they would even consider doing it because it's just such a low level, low status thing to do. It's weird to me, and I don't want it to feel like I don't want any of this to feel like I'm, trying to sales pitch somebody, but I am biased, of course. But it's super weird. It's strange because, it's like, remember when maybe in 2022, you'd see these things on social media. I keep bumping the mic. Sorry, man. Where people would, and it's usually women, and they would get these AI photos and, oh, here's an illustration of me as a fairy princess, like, nobody would look at those and go, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were a fairy princess." We knew it was an illustration. The headshot thing is weird though, because it doesn't purport, it's not like an avatar. It purports to be a photograph of you, and it is not. And so it's inherently a lie. It's super weird. I wonder what the bar thinks about it. What is it?
Oh, I didn't even think of
State
that.
Bar Rule 7.02, comment 3, something like that, says you can't use actors or models to portray you. I think it's at least conceivable that.
I think you can, but you gotta have a disclosure.
Oh, you have to do it.
Well, because
That's why I'm not a lawyer.
Austin was that guy with the white beard for all those commercials. Nouget.
Oh yeah,
There's a Hurricane Ike Attorney.com. He had it was a spokes.
Interesting.
Wilford Brimley looking kind of.
So it's just super weird to me. But the people who work with me, a big part of it is the experience. I bet nobody has ever looked at their bullshit AI headshot and started to tear up because, oh my God, I look so good. And that happens to me sometimes. And then also I think one advantage to it is the hopefully you take that coaching out and you go use it elsewhere. The next time you get photographed, you don't look like a goon.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you take the single mom out for a drink and you want to hit her with confidence, you know exactly how to do it. I think there's a lot of value in that, but just being real.
Same with married moms,
Well,
depends on your priorities. Spice it up a little bit.
Exactly.
No, not that I'm taking out married moms. I'm in for Peter. He's married. He's taking out Diane, and he wants a little more.
And you raised the point earlier about the look. What look are you going for with that? It's just roll the dice and see what you get. Versus, hey, no, let's really craft something that's iconic for you, where it's like, holy shit, I look great. I can't wait.
I learned. I saw a thing that says this is how to do your model face. So Peter, you're going to do it real quick in the camera. So smile, open your eyes. Wait, what? Your eyes, not your mouth. You smile regular, and then open your eyes. And stop smiling. What? Geez, why'd you get so angry?
Oh, man, are you dead?
Or Laura
Isn't even modelly.
I need to.
You're supposed to be like.
I'll be in next.
Kyle, you try it this time. Smile.
Well, he looks like a Cormac McCarthy
He's
character.
Rettenbacher, but angry.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, smile. Now open your eyes. Open. Not just no. You're like this. Look, like
they both do their mouths. That's interesting.
You smile, then you open your eyes.
You want pouty? You want pouty?
No, smile, open your eyes, and then stop smiling.
Gee,
What's that? Everybody grimace.
What's the Riz? How do you do the Riz face?
I know about. What is a Riz face?
I don't.
The guys that go boom.
Oh yeah, the Rizzler guy.
Yeah, Rizzler. Yeah.
I don't know what his face does.
I don't know. So I've
totally lost the thread.
How'd that get? What is going on in your algorithm?
So I don't know.
So there's a lot of Riz.
It's the kids like the Riz.
That's fair.
Okay, back. So I was gonna say, like, photographer to me, you'd see these high flying photographers, and the camera. I mean, the cameras are as good as they're going to be. Like, what the difference between a good photographer and an average photographer is what you get out of the subject, right? How you bring that out.
If you're shooting people, yeah. I mean, especially for headshots, the expression is the number one thing. And okay, sir, smile is typically not going to get you there. The lighting is super important too. It's funny. I had a company was fishing with me this last week, and we're about to set something up. But at some point, I got this question out of the blue. They want to know what camera you use, and I was like, "Who's the amateur photographer of the execs?" And sure as shit, there was
DSLR.
Yeah.
Want to compare notes?
Like the camera I use, I could use a crop sensor. Do they still make crop sensors? I'm asking the tech booth. I don't know. Anyway, the lens is more important than the camera body. The light's more important than that. And I think the expression's way more important than that, especially for professional shots like this. If you want to look out to lunch and like you're not good at what you do and you're not authentic and all that, then you can either do AI or you can just be this guy.
I saw Sneed's face on your website. I'm pretty sure that picture is on billboards.
Who? Yeah, Sneed and Mitchell. Do you know those guys? Oh, yeah. They are really dear friends of mine. And I actually saw Niles a couple months ago. I went to
law school with Niles.
Oh, okay.
Great guy.
I parked my car, and then I hear Chris, and I turn around, and there he's getting out of his car. And he ended up walking Memorial Park with me, which is like 3 miles.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'll see you. And I thought we were done. He had walked 3 miles just to talk with me, and then he went and did his run like he meant.
That sounds bad.
They're
he was a super nice guy in law school that we had.
Brittany's great too.
I've just noticed they must have done a push on billboards. I've seen a bunch of
I noticed when I saw the picture when we pulled up his website, I saw that and I was like, I've seen that on a billboard.
Yeah, I love it when they end up on boards. It's cool.
Okay, well, I want to step back. So you were a commercial litigator for 19 years.
Yeah, did about 19 years.
Do you care to say like your history, like which firms you worked for, and what kind of work you did?
I hated it, so the history won't be very interesting. But I worked for 3 different firms during my career. One was kind of like a business law firm, and then I did actually do insurance defense for a brief.
I was wondering what that smell was.
Yeah, and I apologize.
I thought it was New Jersey at first.
It's where I got most of my trial experience, and then I was at a kind of a trial boutique during the commercial litigation for most of it, and that's where I ended up. And actually, do y'all know Kid Ashby at all?
I've heard the name, but not.
Good guy. He used to be a Marine, did the JAG thing, and just a heart of gold, does not want a hug from you. Not a touchy-feely guy, but just a good man and a good trial lawyer, too. And he was one of the guys I worked with, and I was in his office the end of like December 2015, having one of those end of the year talks. How'd we do this year? What are we going to do next year? And my book of business was constricted a bit. And I said something to him like, man, kid, the problem is I hate this shit, you know? and that's when it finally clicked for me, because I'd started to charge for what I was doing with the headshot. So I guess it had become a side hustle at the time. It's so hard mentally to get over that hump of, giving up 4 years undergrad, 3 years of law school, all that experience. And the way my brain works, I know if I stop doing it, I'm going to forget almost everything. So I'd never even conceived of it. It's not like I'd ever said no. I'd never thought of doing it. And that's when it hit me like, holy shit, maybe I could just do more of that thing. And maybe I could pay my bills and maybe I'd be happier. And they were so fucking cool about it. Instead of precipitating the night of the long knives, as might happen, they were like, oh, that's so cool. Let's talk about it. How can we help?
That's right.
I used to well up telling that part of the story because I just can't believe that they were so awesome to me. But it made it easy. Like, do you want to go have counsel? No, but I appreciate it.
But you didn't do a slow ramp down. You stopped.
I did as fast as I could. I was like, how can we, and instead of them being, they were so cool about it, and gave myself a year to get flush with work, and I should have given myself 6 months because it happened.
Where are you from originally?
Houston. Been here my whole life.
What part?
I grew up in the west side of town. You from here too?
I'm from Deer Park.
Oh, cool.
How far west? Like Stratford or Memorial or?
Memorial.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Your kids are what, Stratford?
I'll have one in Stratford next year.
Yeah, you should see Kyle's house out. Oh,
He's killing it.
huge.
It's basically it's a boxcar from a train.
Don't describe your G-Wagon that way.
Yeah.
So
He's describing his G-Wagon. Whoa, you looked into that, Kyle. Kyle drives a G-Wagon.
So Chris, you jumped in all in on this deal.
I did.
And that was 15, 16, you said?
January 16 is when I first started.
Nice.
And so your thought was, I'm going to give this some time. If it doesn't work, I can always go back if I have to. But
I was hoping I
or
would.
did you burn the boats pretty much?
Yeah, and I did let my license lapse. And obviously, not obviously. I guess we were talking off camera, but I got it back. But
We're not calling you doc.
I came close. No, I don't deserve it.
I won't do it.
But I came close to burn the bridges, and it helped.
So at this point, is your
Yes.
preference to do like the one-offs? Like we did photos, I think in 2017, and I think we just did 2 or 3 lawyers. Do you prefer to do like 1 or 2 offs, or do you want like
Firms.
Baker bots to show up and say we have 400 robots take all their photos?
Those guys aren't getting cool photos.
It's so funny to me. So
Shout out to Ben.
the good thing is that maybe I need 450 people a year, so I don't need a bunch of law firms to fill my dance card. The ones that I do tend to be people that I like. Like I do a lot for Sneed Mitchell. They typically send in their case managers and stuff like that because that's who the clients are going to be typically dealing with. And I actually think it's a good idea. But I don't need the big firms. And strangely enough, like they honestly don't give a shit. They just want it done. It's a box they need to check.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder, I think I mentioned this earlier. It's sometimes not clear to me that they even understand why they have to do headshots, other than, well, you just kind of have to do it.
I'm redoing a website. Got to freshen up.
Yeah, got to freshen up. When I first started,
Who would think like that?
when I first started doing this in 16 and I wasn't flush yet, I tried to network a lot. And I don't remember when it happened, but at some point I became aware of the fact that people don't seem to understand why they even need headshots. And so I started to quiz people about it, especially people who you'd think would know, like marketing people, website people, the people saying, hey, we need to get headshots. One time I was at an event talking to a young woman from Eversheds, an in-house marketing person. And it was like a depot. I said, why do you put pictures of the lawyers on the website? And she had this caught out look, like, when you're fucking with the first year associate who objects to form and you say, please state the basis for your. It's my favorite thing. I forgot to write them down. I don't remember. Last time I saw it happen, the lawyer said, well, I just want to object to form. All right, it's waived.
Yeah.
So she had that kind of deer in the headlights look. And then she said, I know this sounds made up, but I swear to God, this is what she said, almost word for word. She said, so you know what they look like? And look, if we're being, charitable to her, she's saying, put a name with a face. And that's not wrong, but it's also not a great answer. It's like a C- answer to me. Other answers I got were, well, you have to do it. Like everybody does it. If you don't do it, it's kind of weird. It's like when you see that profile on LinkedIn and there's that little outline of a head, they don't have a picture. It feels weird. It's like, are they not serious about this, or is this not a person? And yeah, so that's maybe another C- answer. The best answer I ever have gotten, and I still don't think it's a good answer, it was from a marketing guy who was, I was telling him we were having this conversation, and he said he was listening to the answers and he was like, oh, those, benighted people. And it's to establish rapport. And that's not a bad answer. Maybe that's a B answer, maybe. But I think the main reason you do it is, I don't understand how legal marketing people don't get this. As a lawyer, what do you market? What do you have to market?
My brain.
Your brain. I think the answer for a lot of people would be, you have a certain perceived level of expertise that you're peddling. Like, you need to send me your case because I'm going to get maximum value for it, or whatever, however y'all would pitch it. But it's a certain perceived level of expertise that all lawyers have in a service business like this. And first impressions are going to be super important. It's one of those things in life that everybody knows is true, and actually is true. The research on first impressions is legion, and first impressions are formed almost instantaneously, and they're sticky. Once they're formed, it's hard to get rid of them. And the visuals make way more difference than the text. The LinkedIn people taught us that. And so if that is the case, then what's the thing they're going to often see first? Oh, you should get my buddy Herbert to handle your case. He did a great job for my sister. They go clickety-clack and they look it up, and you can either look like a scared child, or you can look like a guy who I don't need your case, but I'm a good guy. I'll listen to it.
Yeah, you get lost in those eyes.
And so that, I think, is the main reason why people need headshots and why they're important. It's going to form a first impression, and hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully, like we talked about earlier, it's one where, yeah, the guy looks hyper confident, but he looks like a good guy, confident, likable guy. And they don't get it. And I don't think the big firms care, frankly. It's like, we don't need it, But it's so weird because they'll do all these other things to increase their perceived level of expertise. They'll have the Class A office space, and
a whole floor of conference rooms and
build out, and they'll have the artwork that's like, I've seen twice where it looked like sperm. Have y'all seen these on the walls? I feel like Hogan Levels has that.
Hey, I 100% agree, but also kind of tastefully done.
It's tasteful.
Tasteful sperm.
But don't y'all think that if you're in the glass blowing, one of the first things you make is a little sperm or tadpole or something?
I mean, I think at all points in life, all of us were at one point that.
And then you want to get sophisticated, you do a Prince Rupert's drop as I look to camera.
Fair now.
Bill, you're kind of at the birds and the bees phase there with your son, right? Your website. I'm looking at your website.
Are you reading all these questions?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at your website. I
don't have any visuals.
Okay, so I agree with you that the website pictures are key. And so there's one on Tisha Peoples, who's a very good family lawyer in town.
She was my divorce lawyer.
Okay. Yeah. So,
we did not barter.
You, but I guess you haven't, I'm looking at your blog, but it hadn't been updated in a while.
Oh,
but,
God, no.
You should update it.
I need to.
Okay. Brian Wilson, the Texas Law Hawk you referenced here, and you said that was...
I do not. Really? I don't even remember that.
Yeah. Do you know him?
So this poor guy.
Because we're on Super Bowl Sunday, and that's why I'm kind of thinking about it. That's where he debuted the Texas Law Hawk.
When he first debuted, that was a long time ago,
2015.
And I think I looked on his website, and he had his phone number, his cell number on his website. And so I started texting him. I was like, dude, I love your commercials. And then I texted him too much, and he stopped responding. So if he is listening, I apologize. But I think he's awesome.
Don't apologize. 2 middle fingers up on that one.
Yeah,
we're doubling down here.
He needs to bring it back.
I love how polarizing he was, because some people I would talk about that with, and they'd go, "Oh yeah, that guy's hilarious. I love that." And some people would say, "Oh, it's an embarrassment to the profession.
Yeah. There was a,
If you're not embarrassing your profession, you're not even trying hard enough to be in that profession.
no, he was part of it. There was a couple different lawyers that went over the top on their ads at that point in time. And then it really nothing's happened since then. So
It's time to bring it back.
You think I need something crazy?
the door is open. The market is,
Ay caramba.
I photographed myself. My studio is up against, it's near a railroad track, and I was walking to lunch one day, and I saw a train coming, so I whipped out my phone, looking over my shoulder with a train coming, and I said, "This is a train. These things are fucking dangerous." And I thought that would be a great social media ad. What do you think? Y'all are experienced. What do you think to ad buy, like for some Google ads for train accident?
Expensive.
Those are expensive.
yeah.
Or feel like cases are, we're featherweight liability there. Yeah.
What are some areas where I can buy? We'll do this off camera. Never mind.
No, we can talk about it on camera. I'm fine. They're not. You'll be able to get them
real life
2 weeks before this goes out.
We've had real live lawyers come on the show and pitch the facts of their case to us and say, "Could I refer you this case?" And Bill's like, "Great idea. These cases are all going to be excellent. Good idea. So no, there's no such thing as a dumb question because Bill will answer it.
Yes, sweet.
And if I don't know the answer, I'll lie to you.
Yeah. Nobody fact checks this. As you pointed out earlier, we have very few followers.
Did Kyle wear makeup when he did his?
Of course he did. He looks.
I don't use makeup on guys.
Well, what if they bring their own makeup? BYO.
I'll ask them not to use it. I don't like makeup on guys.
And that was from
Me. That makes 3 of us at this table.
Now, it's weird on men. Like, it covers stuff up, and you need some shit on your face to look masculine. And I don't like it.
You got a little.
Did you add shit on Kyle's face to make it look masculine?
We imported some very fine shit to put on my face for the shot.
How did you get it to stay this long?
Bill's got a good beard. You got like kind of the shadow stuff. Kyle got a drain as a whistle because we can't grow beards. But what do you think on the facial hair? How does that go on the photos?
That's something, like we alluded to earlier, that's something I like to play with. If a guy's not sure, I usually tell him, if you got scruff, bring in the scruff. We can shoot it, shave it, shoot without, and then you can see. Because you never know. Like sometimes I'm right about it, sometimes I'm not. I had a guy in, last time we did it, I could tell he's pretty chiseled underneath the scruff. And so we shot the scruff, and I said, okay, go shave it. I kind of thought I was going to like the shaved better. And it just baby-faced him too much. He looked so much more masculine with the scruff. Sometimes it goes both ways. Sometimes they like both looks, and they want both looks for different purposes. And sometimes they prefer the clean shaven. You just never know. A lot of this shit, you're not going to be right about if you guess. You really need to shoot it, look at it, and see what vibe you get from it.
I think Peter should grow a mustache. I think is what he's trying to say.
I think that's a great idea.
I don't think I can.
I think you should try.
Sure.
You found a
Like a 14-year-old kid.
little cookie duster, little caterpillar up top.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Can you touch up and remove double chins?
I like to get them right in the studio. I can do all sorts of shit in post, but I like it to, the better it looks straight out of camera, usually the better the image. Like, and then it's more fun for the person. Think of the experience. Oh yeah, this kind of looks shitty, but I'll fake it later, versus look how fucking good you look, you know? And so sometimes it's just like, I've got a long pointy chin and I'm pretty lean, so my jawline's okay, but I'm getting this shit right here. Look guys, I'm 57.
Jesus Christ, you're 57?
Pretty good, right? Thanks, Mom and Dad.
That's great.
I appreciate it. Usually I'll have people bring their
Peter,
heads
how old are
forward
you?
a bit, and it just...
Yeah, Peter, how'd you get to be 65 next to him?
I'm 53,
Nice.
but I have.
See, he's got a 90 right channel. Yeah.
I usually had her bring her head.
That's right, like a couple times.
Did you bring your head forward?
really
You do the
see it.
camera above or below?
You got a great.
It would be better to have the camera a little higher. I don't. I tend to cheat it a little bit lower. And while it does make the jawline thing a little more challenging, it doesn't make it impossible. The low camera angle is better. I fucking hate it when they shoot down on people, because it sounds like it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it puts everybody who sees you in a superior position to you. And I know it sounds like it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it robs you of a little bit of power. Lawyers will get this. There's a reason the judge's bench is elevated. It's a position of power and authority. We look up the people we admire. We look down on people we don't. So I want the viewer to see you from just a smidge low, and it just makes it look stronger.
Which is why Kyle looks up to President Donald Trump.
I wear lifts and boots, and I also have a very tall back.
Careful. That's how you get elected governor of Florida.
Well, gator boots.
Nice.
Okay, so the website is called Like the Razor.
That's it.
And you can click on the book with me there. Like the Razor, I think it's on the website. And I'll say, Chris didn't want to say what it is, but I'll just tell you, it is very, I think, reasonable for the value.
A lot of my clients are telling me that. They'll say, "Oh, you're too." I mean, there's certainly
You're half of what I paid for the shitty vertical.
No, you fuck from that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you look good. You look good.
I know. I mean, I look great, but I could have looked better horizontally shot.
But
in better lighting.
In your website bio, you say how tall you are, right? Don't you say I'm 6'5"?
No, that's why I just got a lot of torso.
Got it.
In my photos now.
Read between the lines.
Yeah. It's like, wow, look at it. That guy's got to be huge.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the price is there. And like I said,
do what you want.
It's very reasonable, particularly for what your value you're providing. And typically you get the session, and then after it's done, you sit down with a person in real time and tweak things and pick out the one that works best for the client, and then they can use it however they want on the website.
Wrap the session up with a hot oil cap massage.
I mean, get it. At that point, I'm going to need one.
What is in the photo shoot? One of my distinct memories of my photo shoot with you is you had a particular mix, like on your iPod.
Oh,
that's all I got.
Music.
What is the music
you're
using right now?
When
When I first started doing this, I would ask people, I thought, oh, well, I want people to be comfortable. What music do you want to listen to? And enough people say they wanted to listen to rap, where I've got to listen to N-Bombs Cover My Shoulder while at work, and I just won't do that anymore. I didn't make up the rules, but now that's how it is. So I just play the music I want to hear. So it's typically a mix of like dad rock.
It's Nickelback and a lot of Michael McDonald.
A lot of Back in Black.
There's a few Michael McDonald's in there. There's some yacht rock.
Yeah, George Michael.
There's some yacht rock in there, but
it's 10 Sweet Freedom by Michael McDonald.
So good. Often stuff that I just have liked at some point. But yeah, it just kind of helps elevate the mood a little bit.
Is that on Spotify? Would you share that playlist? I'd love to listen.
I think I would have to make them public, but there's probably a way to do it. Yeah, it's like headshots 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm at 5.
Yep, I like it.
I had to cycle through them so I don't get tired of it.
Peter just listens to like trap house music, so.
I mean, it's Harris County, so I get a lot of Hispanic clients, and like if they want to hear, hey baby, ¿qué pasó? Then I'll be your only vato, whatever.
Okay. Well, I'm just interested too in the leaving the law, because we've definitely had people switch sides or open their own firm. I can't think of anyone that completely left the law practice to do something completely different. So looking back now, 10 or so years into it, would you say no regrets?
None at all. I wish I'd done it sooner. I couldn't have done it before digital photography, because a big part of the process is talking about the shots and seeing them in real time. I guess I could shoot Polaroids. But
did you get a degree in it?
No. Most of it self-taught, and a lot of it was I found headshots that I loved and figuring out why you like those things.
Yes. How did you get into it in the beginning?
So I've got 3 kids. 2 are in their 20s, and I have a surprise kid who's 15 now. And when he was born, or actually right before he was born, I got the idea, I'm going to buy a used camera and learn how to take pictures of my family. Why would you ever leave a guy like that? I don't know why, but I thought, I'll learn how to take pictures of my family. And so I bought because camera phones weren't like they are now. And so I bought a used Canon. And as my youngest son, James, got old enough to toddle, we were in Westview at the time, and there's a ton of nice parks there. And I'd take him to the park and I'd take pictures of him. And then I'd start to take pictures of the rest of the family. And over a, 3, 4, 5 year period, I got better at it. And I think I'd started to put them on Facebook. And a buddy of mine who'd seen them one day called me and he said, "Hey, I need a headshot for work. Can you take a headshot of me?" And like an idiot, I thought, oh yeah, I can do that. It never occurred to me, oh yeah, I never liked my lawyer headshots. What makes me think I can do that for somebody else?
As you had one that you didn't like, you were like, yeah, I could totally do that.
So, and he was a nice looking guy, and he was not disappointed in what we did, but I was. And so that's what got me on the path to, okay, well, how do you do this? I guess I've seen good pictures of people. How do you do that? And so that's what got me on the path to doing it. And the biggest epiphany for me was, because I looked online for information, couldn't find anything. And then I thought, well, maybe I can find shots I like. And that took a while, because most headshots suck. It's especially back then. The standards, yours don't suck, but the bar was even lower back then. But I finally found some shots that I thought were fantastic, and they were all by this guy in New York who shoots a lot of actors. And I just called him up one day, and he picked up the phone and answered. Ended up becoming very good friends with him, and over maybe a year and a half period, he would look at my work and tell me what he didn't like about it, which is tremendously helpful. Y'all know the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Mhm.
So once I got past the Dunning-Kruger of, I'm good at this now, I know what I'm doing, and was like, no, I'm terrible. These are horrible. I thought these were good. And was able to accept criticism, knowing how valuable it was. You want people to say, oh, I love your stuff, versus, oh, I don't like this, but you learn more from the negative stuff. And that's what put me on the path too, because luckily this guy was really good with expression, and seeing that really made the difference. That's when I was like, okay, that's what I like about that shot about myself. And it's so weird because you would think that headshot photographers would get this. And even today, a lot more get it now, but even today, I'll see these pictures with just bullshit picture smiles, and it's amazing.
Regardless of genre, do you have a favorite photographer?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm kind of, and you'd ask me this, and I apologize, I didn't answer the question. Like, do I shoot other stuff for fun? It's my job. So when I go on vacation, I never take a camera, with a few exceptions. I love what I do, but yeah, I don't do that stuff. So I don't, I really love what I do. And while you think that this frame is like this, and it's the simplest form of people photography, like I said, it's endlessly fascinating to me. I'm constantly learning new stuff about it. I've got a notes on my notes app where when I was younger, I used to fly, and there was a aviation magazine I used to get, and in the back was a column that said, I learned about flying from that. And there's always some close call where you learn something from the aftermath of it. And I learned about headshot photography from that, because like, you're doing something in your current shot that while you look good, the light's nice, and you look like a cool guy, you're handsome, there's one thing about the body language that I hate. And it's so weird to me because it's so strange that photographers don't understand this, because conceptually it's not difficult. And I can show.
So what am I doing in the body language?
Your head is inclined, and you're not doing this. It was the photographer's in charge of it.
No, they can torch you in these things, right? I mean, you're not in your.
And sometimes they do it on purpose. If you look at your shot, there's one shoulder closer to the camera, and your head is inclined slightly towards that closer shoulder. So if the tech guys, I'm going to give them something to futz with later in the tech booth. They're going to love this. If you're taking a picture of me and I tilt towards this closer shoulder, I look softer and more feminine.
You do look feminine.
Than when I tilt this way.
I do?
Yeah, because the shoulder, it's like
I think it's the lipstick that makes him look feminine. The lipstick and the pearl earrings, they're not helping.
That's not helping.
Eyeshadow was a little much. Yeah.
And the thing that pisses me off about it is, like, it's not your fault. You didn't do that.
No,
whoever fucking took that picture did. And this is not sub rosa information. This is stuff that portraiture artists of various media have known for centuries. So it's crazy. I think the basis of this body language is whether it looks like you're protecting your throat. It's a soft, vulnerable part of your body. I mean, what are your soft bits? Your groin, your eyes, your throat. Hard strikes there can knock me out. You do that, I'm gone alarmingly fast. Here, I'm protecting it. I'm worried, and I got to protect it. In here, whatever's in front of me, I don't give a fuck. It's not a threat to me. So I'm going overboard to make the.
This week, like, is this all self-taught? This kind of posture and messaging?
Some of it is, some of it's not. This one, I think I picked up from portrait artists. But even with women, like, I want them to look pretty, but I want them to, if they're lawyers, I want them to look strong too. And if I make them look like this, they look soft and helpless and weak, and other way they look stronger. And it's just a matter of the tilt, and the fuckers taking the picture just are oblivious to it. It's crazy to me.
So we always take a photo of our guests with us after the show, and I want to volunteer to not take the photo tonight. I want to definitely not take the photo. I can't handle that kind of criticism in my life.
All I know is, I'm going to do anytime anybody takes a photo of anybody now, I'm just going to criticize the shit out of them. I'm like, yeah, right, their neck could totally get attacked right there.
How much would you charge us to take a photo of us with just an iPhone tonight?
I don't work for free, motherfucker.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Well, now that you mentioned that,
I'm going to say you have on you, Bill.
It was generous that you donated headshots for all of us for the Dirty Verdicts. We didn't ask, and we insisted you not, but you were so.
I love this overhead lighting. We're all going to look great.
Totally appreciate it.
I have like $38.
Yeah.
The tech guys are like, fuck.
Okay. I would say
He's a Navy SEAL.
Like I said, we didn't talk about this as much, but for lawyers who are not happy in their practice and have other passions, here's an example of someone that followed that and left the practice.
Guys, if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah.
Go to my website, lawyersescapepod.com.
A year from now, I'm like, Mom, Dad, I need more money for painting. Nobody's buying my art.
I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to be like,
Trust is helpful.
Yeah.
I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be like, Bill, you cannot paint my mailbox again. Get off my lawn.
Like, you barely read your address on the curb.
Yeah.
It's just sunset.
Websites liktherazor.com.
.com.
And lots of information there, lots of exemplar photos. Kyle's is curiously not part of a
Would make out. I saw it earlier, but you can
pay to play, guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to start one of those judge candidate endorsement organizations. You call it New Vision or something like that. Taking some money.
I'm inspired.
Yeah. Think of it original. I'll hire you guys to figure out. Believe me.
If you need to fundraise,
I mean, all right. And I'd say this, we're in a phase right now where there's a lot of younger lawyers that are starting out on their own and they need websites and good headshots. I'd highly commend Chris Gillett.
Or even just AI
out there. Yeah. Don't
do this.
I mean,
protect your neck.
let me give Chris a little plug as somebody
That's
who's
my website.
neck and growing. Neck and growing.
Well, let me give Chris a plug for somebody that's been through this process. I had a different iteration of my firm where every 3 or 4 years we would pay somebody's sister-in-law to come up here and take photos, and they were universally bad, and we never paid more than a couple $100 for them. And then when I was on my own and had lawyers working for me, I looked at your website, thought the work was great. You've been recommended by a bunch of people, and I guess 10 or 11 years ago, what you were charging was a lot of money to me. And I did not think about it lightly. It was the first marketing dollar we ever spent. And I was on my own, but for me and my associate lawyers, it was the first marketing dollars we ever spent. And I remember my bookkeeper was like, I don't know. I mean, you really want to spend this? It's like a new printer. And I remember
You don't have a website.
that's why we don't have a printer. Is I got the
I
shots.
got to lease this thing.
I got the shots done, and it was absolutely money well spent. I was like, these look great. I could have paid double for this and would have been just as satisfied. Can't recommend Chris enough.
That's what's so cool about what I do. I get to meet cool guys like Kyle, who I would probably be friends with otherwise, but wouldn't have met him otherwise. I get good people.
And you can, Kyle, can you use the photos on your Tinder profile?
It's Grindr.
I recommend
Grindr.
it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Whatever they are. And Amanda's daughter, didn't she do art? Yeah. I was surprised you haven't circulated because you sent one from whenever she did it at my old law firm. She did some of our live action shots.
She did some of our view photos, and Chris did last.
Yeah, she was great.
Oh, good. Yeah. She was more kind of an artiste as a photographer.
We're still trying to shelter her, though.
Photographers photographing photographers?
Yeah.
That's
All right. Well,
That's like Googling Google.
I think I didn't tell you guys anything.
are you taking a picture of me or are you doing this?
no. I'm just checking out what this AI thing looks like.
Oh, okay.
Chris, what do you think we missed? What do you want to say? Your last couple minutes around the
I mean, we
podcast.
talked for an hour on head.
I tell you what, like the head tilt thing, I think that's like a revelation. There's a plaintiff's law firm in town where I can't remember who it was, but some client that I just met who booked with me said, "Oh, I saw a really crappy headshot the other day. It was like a guy she'd gone out with on Tinder or whatever." And she showed me the shot and he's in there like, and I don't think he was, I mean, I don't know why the mouth was open, but it was really feminine looking. And it just pisses me off because I doubt if the photographer said, "Hey, do you want to look feminine? I can feminine you up a little bit." And it just pisses me off. And I've seen firms where every guy is in there slightly off kilter, and it's so weak looking. And it's weird because it's simple conceptually, but I think people don't, and once they see it, then it's like, oh, holy shit, I'll never do that again. So I'm multiple times a day earning a living by going, no, do that. And then we get there.
It's the little things.
In our group photos, Bill insists on putting one hand on my shoulder.
Oh, that's
To show your femininity.
And
I think it's to show your power.
yeah.
I'm an alpha. That's what I do.
it's a dominance move for
I see a good shoulder. I'm going to put my hand on it.
See, I felt the other way. I felt like my virility was on display because I attract people that want to touch me nonstop, which is
That's
off-putting.
They're sorry. I'm not sorry.
I learned a lot.
I have too.
Yeah. So I appreciate
Yeah. All I've learned is that we're going to have to burn another grip to get all of our attorneys photographed to my fur.
Yeah.
I think we should do a fraternity composite of like 300 photos, but it's just the three of us repeated over and over. And then
different poses, maybe.
Yes, different poses, different
Interesting.
hairstyles, different mustaches. And then we'll have like Amanda, like a fraternity president, and then Josh Rush captain. But all the members are just different shots of our faces in those little ovals.
I like right up there.
The composite.
All right, we will wrap this one up. Chris, thanks so much for joining us.
Sure, have it.
Very informative and interesting, and
It's great to be with guys
Yeah.
who work for a living.
well,
That's us.
some of us do. All right, well, if you enjoy this, follow us, like us, subscribe to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Nailed it. Nice.
Good job, Pete.
That was the best one ever.
After 100 times, I'm starting to pick it up. All right, we'll see you next week. Thank you.